Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. This is the last talk today. It's different to all the other talks. It doesn't concern a foreign chemical that's been made in a laboratory somewhere, or one of these so-called gifts of Mother Nature that you just heard about. What we will be dealing with here for the next few minutes is something very common that we all know about, namely edible vegetable oil. And just behind the speakers at the back there is an exhibition of such oils and some attractive posters. And you might wonder how, in heaven's name, would that fit into our deliberations here today. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to introduce you to a very interesting aspect about these edible oils, which I sincerely believe has a profound bearing on the whole question of cancer. And the two ideas that I'll be looking at are firstly the pro idea, which says that the ratio of N6 to N3 is significant for health and disease, and it's based on solid science, and it should be in daily use. And for those of you who don't know what N6 is and what N3 is, just hold on for about a minute until we've dealt with this slide. The anti-idea, which is supported by strong contingencies, it's not a minor idea. It's, in fact, to some extent, I'd go as far as saying to you this afternoon that this anti-idea is recently been supported by the World Health Organization, to give you some idea of the kind of balance of concept that we're dealing with. And this anti-idea is that this ratio of N6 to N3 is not based on good science, that it has conceptual limitations, and it's no compelling rationale for recommending this ratio, and that it shouldn't actually be used at all. Now, what is N6 and what is N3, and why do some people think it's useful and some people think it isn't? What you're looking at here are two long molecules. They are fatty acids, and actually they've got a lot in common. If you look at what's inside the square, you'll notice that what's at the top and what's at the bottom is identical. The only difference between these two molecules is that little double bond over there at the 3 position. 3 carbons from the left-hand side. It's 1, 2, 3, and then you get a double bond. And you don't find that in the bottom molecule. Now, this top molecule is known as omega-3. It's a fatty acid. You find it in edible plant oils, especially oils like canola oil. And the bottom one here, the linoleic acid, which doesn't have that little double bond, is the main fatty acid of sunflower seed oil. And there has been a concept that has been discussed and used for about 25 years now, that there should be a specific ratio in one's body, in your blood, there should be a specific ratio between the N6 and the N3. By the way, this 6 is because the double bond's at the 6th carbon atom from the left-hand side. But the other fatty acids also got a double bond there. So the thinking is that there should be, at best, 2 of these N6s for every N3. That would be a healthy ratio. But even a 3-to-1 and a 4-to-1 ratio would be acceptable. But when you start going above that, let's say you go up to 10-to-1, 10 of these omega-6s for every 1 omega-3, the thinking is that this is not good from a biochemical point of view, from a toxicological point of view, and that it could actually start leading to inflammatory conditions, which are the forerunner of carcinogenesis. So to put it quite simply then, the one argument is that if the ratio of these two molecules is wrong, it could be setting the scene for cancer. The counter idea is that that's not the case. So there you have the difference between the two molecules. If you just look at these two renditions of the omega-3 and the omega-6, you can see that they are very similar. There's a lot in common between the two, but when you get to the bottom part of the molecule, you'll see that that extra double bond is giving that bottom part of the molecule a slightly different three-dimensional configuration. So there are the two double bonds in the omega-6 on the right-hand side, and there comes a third double bond on the left-hand side in the omega-3. And that's what's making this whole big difference between the ratio and whether it's got something to do with cancer or not. It's that double bond in that circle. You can hardly believe it, that one extra little bond between two carbons, that so much could turn on that. There's another rendition of the two molecules.